Here in St. Louis, our teens are dying rapidly and families are hurting. Annie Malone's Economic Mobility Program is offering an innovative solution to help stop our young men from being on a RIP t-shirt. This program is for young men ages 16 to 21 and takes place at our North City campus. With us, they will have assistance accomplishing their high school diploma, get help with legal cases, and most importantly, be empowered by men that have been where they are. Don't wait until the next shooting. Act now.
I'm going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on. Baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team now. I'm going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team now. You can find me in St. Louis rolling on dubs, smoking on dubs in clubs, blowing up like bubble buzz. Scratch bionic, it's ironic. Slamming haters like Onyx. Lunatics to the day I died. I run more game than the Bulls and Sonics. Going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on. Baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team now. Going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. You say pretty boys ain't be okay, corralled in us, fouled in us, running the club and busting the crowd in. How then? Ask me again, and it's going down in. Now then, come to the circus and watch me clowning, pounding. What you be giving when I'm around and frowning, talking that shit when I leave the town in. Say now, can you hoes come out to play now? Hey, I'm ready to cut you up any day now. Play by my rules, boo, and you gon' stay high. May I answer your third question like AI? Say hi to my niggas left in the slammer, from St. Louis to Memphis, from Texas back up to Indiana, Chi-Town, KC, Motown to Alabama, LA, New York Yankee sluggers, Hotland, Louisiana, getting paid off this country grammar, smoking in Savannah, blow 30 mil like I'm Hammer, going down, baby. Woo. Street in the rain, come on, baby. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up, listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. Bless it to me now. Going down, baby. Your street in the rain, ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up, listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. I'ma show these cats how to make these millions. So you with like the silly monkey, kid, quicker than Billy, mom. Talking really not needed, mom. Flows I get them freely, mom. Especially I Remy, mom. Keys to my Beamer, mom. Holler at Beanie, mom. See me, mom. Chief and rolling deeper than any mom. Through Jenny's mind. Through you city, back up the King's line with nice players, shice players who snatch your life and they tripe when they produce and sell the same be twice, but they ice, baby, all over close to never sober, from broke to having brokers. My price range is over. Now I'm knocking like Jehovah. Let me in now. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. Spin now. I got money to lend my friends. Now we in now. Candy beans, Kenwood and tears. Now I win now. Woo. And lesbian twins now. Sin now. Through the pen, I make my ends now. Down, baby. Your street in the rain. Come on. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up, listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. Going down, baby. Your street in the rain. Ready to let it go. Shimmy, go up, listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now.
Is it on our page now? No, it should be live on the page on our page now.
Yeah, it's saying live.
Hello.
Just let me know when you're ready to start. Am I in the camera? Am I in view? My lipstick okay? My hair okay? All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I apologize for the delay, technical difficulties, as you know. I just want to thank everybody for being here this evening. Thanks to Next Time Cafe for hosting us this evening. And all of those, yeah, big round of applause for them. And everybody that's going to be joining us on live, thank you. I'll recap first from last month when we did this. It's the response, with the Annie Malone Economic Mobility Program. And we kind of talked about the state of the streets, really. What's going on with the youth and how we all can get involved, and how the powerful men behind me have been actively in the community and assisting me on this journey with the Economic Mobility Program. I am not going to moderate tonight. I'm going to do my spiel and I'm going to get out the way and allow these fine gentlemen to keep it going. But first I want to talk about the Economic Mobility Program and what that is. So the Economic Mobility Program at Annie Malone is for teen males aged 16 to 21. It's more of a boarding school model. They come in with us on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. and they're with us until Friday evenings at 7 p.m. And they are also with us on the weekends to check in for mentorship programs and also for community service. Now, the reason I do this program is because I didn't want a residential facility. I didn't want that sort of lockdown facility like a prison. I believe in family and keeping families together. And let me tell you something, if I couldn't see my family, I'd break out and run too. We want to keep families together and give them that sense of familyship on the weekends with their families and out and doing things. We promote family time. So while the boys are with us, they're working towards their high school diploma. And then they're getting training for different entrepreneurship programs, trade schools. They're getting a lot of therapy one-on-one during the week, and also group process therapy and family therapy as well. And they're doing a lot of stuff, I think. Shout out, last month we went to the Drake and J. Cole concert. We have some fun in there. Next month we'll be going to see one of the Boston Celtics games up in Chicago. And I think that piece is important. But also with this program, we're helping the families. So while the boys are enrolled in this program, and I say boys because they're my babies, but the young men enrolled in this program, we're helping their families with utility assistance every single month. So that means their bills, car note, groceries, household products, gas cards, all of that. And I don't know about you, but hey, I would take some of that if I could. But it's to alleviate that financial burden a little bit, but then also while we take on your teen or your young male who's out of options or don't know where to turn in the streets. And it's to say, I'm not trying to take your baby away from you, but allow me to bring them into this program to alleviate some of your stress and put them around men that have been where they are and have done the things that they're doing that can help them see the light at the end of the tunnel and help them understand that your right now is not your forever, but more importantly, empower them. And I think as a woman, and I've said this a lot, it's only so much that we can give to young men, but these men behind me and the men in your life, they come together and really make an impression on these young men. And we've had some great success stories thus far, and it's going to continue to go. But we do these live sessions to, one, bring awareness to the program, to the families, because everybody out there, you know, your neighbor, nephew that come over there and may tear up or something that's just out of options, or somebody in your family. And we really want to bring awareness so that we don't lose another life. So if you know somebody who has a young male between 16 and 21, get on your cell phone right now, text them, tag this live, let them see what's going on, and help them understand that we're here to help the young male, but also help the family at the same time. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Corey Johnson from the Corey Johnson Foundation and allow him to introduce everyone else behind me and keep the process going. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you. Man, so I must say, how you guys doing out there tonight? I'm glad to be a part of this, as Keisha has already laid down everything in which we do. Now tonight, I would like to introduce you to some amazing guys up here, and I would like them to introduce themselves. So, we're going to start here. So, sir, and Clay, you getting it too, just so you know. Just so you know, because you're supposed to be down here, buddy. Yes. So we're going to start out with Keithan. Keithan, can you just give us an introduction? It should be on.
Testing.
Oh, here you go.
Testing. How you guys doing? All right. Blessed to be here. So my name is Keithan Stallings, founder and CEO of the Access Foundation, and our mission is to provide opportunity for underrepresented youth in the form of STEM education, mentoring, athletics, and wellness. So founded in 2017, and I'm really about just providing opportunities for that next generation in the form of like college prep, mentoring, and most of all, just kind of spending that time that they need during this phase of their lives. So appreciate you guys being here.
Good evening. My name is Alonzo Adams. I'm the pastor of New Jerusalem Church. We're located right here in the city of Ferguson. Been the pastor there for 7 years. A product of Ferguson Florissant, graduated from McClure, and did a career in the military. Also, previous member of the streets, and grateful that God has given us the opportunity to see both sides. What we do at Jerusalem is kingdom building through family living. We have an emphasis on families with so much of the male as the head of the family according to God's structure, and how that attack on the male has been so prevalent. So just grateful to have the opportunity to be a part with all of these brothers here.
This one. Hello. Oh yeah, we good now. All right, my name is Etoya White. I am a licensed professional counselor. I have a private practice that I run that's located in Hazelwood. I'm from the west side of the city, St. Louis Avenue and Clara, stand up. And I'm also a consultant. I do work with lots of companies, ministries, agencies. I do staff training of all kinds. But the goal of my practice is my ministry, and the purpose of it is to urbanize mental health, especially through creating pathways to wellness for men and boys in and from Black and brown spaces.
All right, hello everyone. I am Lance Huff. I am a minister, ordained minister, and I'm also the EMP supervisor of this program. And my background, man, I didn't graduate, didn't make it out of high school, but I did graduate from the streets, all the way to the penitentiary. But thank God I don't look like what I've been through. I stand before you changed, renewed, and reborn, and I have a passion to do this. I have a passion to get back to what I used to be. All right, so that's me.
Yeah, just give us your name and what school you go to. How about that? And how old you are.
My name is Amari. Hold on. Oh, I go to Hazelwood East, and I'm 13. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of nervous. So.
My name is CJ. I'm in 12th grade at Hazelwood East, and I'm an 18-year-old.
All right. My name is Adam Hollis. I'm currently enrolled at Hazelwood East High School, and I am 17 years old, and I'm a junior.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm finna say, made me come out there now. So I am Clay Farmer, known as the Captain. I've been a police officer for 24 years. Currently, I'm the Vice President of Safety and Security, also Community Outreach for Affinia Healthcare, and I also work with that County Prosecutor Wesley Bell guy. So I am glad to be here. I am honored to be here, and I'm ready to get to work. And no matter what Etoya says tonight, I am from the streets. I did go to church, but after that, I went back to the street. So don't listen.
And of course, hey, this guy here, man, he you from the streets now, okay? Ever since that story Yo said last week, man, you've been feeling some type of way. But my name is Corey Johnson. I'm the president of the Corey Johnson Foundation, and our mission is to teach children the importance of giving and receiving, with the emphasis on giving. Now, here on this panel, we all come together collectively as grassroots nonprofits as well as other entities to help these kids. That's our main goal. And like Clay and the rest of these guys, we have been in the trenches for a very long time. So tonight, we would like to kind of ask some questions, and we want to kind of gear these questions, these first sets of questions, to the young men on the panel. And I would like to start off by just kind of asking a couple of questions about safety and how they feel and things like that, because a lot of times we do a lot of the talking, but we don't do any of the listening when it comes to these kids. So we want to know what they want. We want to know what they need. Let's ask them. So, young men, how are you doing today? Get that mic. I'm going to step back a little bit.
Doing good.
Good?
Yeah, doing
All right. So let me ask you a couple of questions, right? Everything that's going on right now, how do you feel right now in the state of what's going on? You're seeing a lot of this violence towards kids and things like that. How is that affecting you?
I mean, it's affecting me personally because it's like, I can't even explain it. Like, it should, like in my eyes, we shouldn't be having to live in a world like this, or should I say in a state like this, to where everywhere you got to go, it's not safe. You have to look behind your back. You have to make sure, be more aware of your surroundings a lot. It's just a lot of things we got to think of, especially younger kids, that's us, that come into the generation. They got to experience all this, good and bad.
Okay. What you think?
I'm quite troubled in how life is nowadays, because I grew up in Hazelwood. Like, I was there from like kindergarten all the way till now. I have a lot of friends that I've known since high school, and I've lost a couple of them because of violence like that, because people were affiliated with such violence. And knowing that it can be changed, but no one steps up to change it these days, it messes me up a lot.
I mean, it is kind of sad what like kids and stuff go through, like physical abuse, verbal abuse, all that stuff is like sad for kids to go through, because then maybe one day they'll become the abusers because of what they've been through in life. But I'm just grateful that I have loving parents and I don't have to go through that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for any other kid that does.
Ooh, empathy, huh? Man. So can you tell me, how can I put this? Does anyone else on this panel have a question to ask these young men besides me? Etoya, I know from a clinical standpoint, can you touch on a little bit of what they're talking about to help them kind of guide themselves? Shift them?
I guess what I would ask, just in terms of what you guys experience, obviously, you know, we've got different levels, even just from the three of you guys. We got middle school, we got high school, we got somebody who's born and raised in the same community and has experienced, you know, just kind of the ins and outs, these changes in culture and so on. I guess the problem that I would ask you guys, just from what you've experienced from your lens, from 13 up to 18, what's the problem as you see it?
I mean, I see like a lot of people try to deal with like problems they have with like using drugs, such as vapes or drinking. And like, I think there's other ways to solve those issues and problems by like either talking to somebody or just any kind of way that does have to do with drugs or violence or any of that.
I mean, from what I've seen, it's like I done lost like a couple of my friends, like closest friends, to them hurting themselves because of drugs, or them getting into situations like streetwise and they don't know what they're doing, what they're expecting. They just basically want to fit in. And now they done passed away because of the choice they decided to make. And it's just like, this is what's missing our like age of kids on up from 18 on back, messing up their futures or their lives because of what's out there in the world. They're just addicted to it, should I say.
The way I see things going is that most kids turn out bad because of things at home, how they're treated at home, and because of that, they turn to drug abuse, just flat out. At school, they're smoking, drinking, they're coming to with bottles, just drinking in class like it's nobody's business. Like, I don't agree with such things like that. And of course, they don't want to be at home, they don't want to be at school, they just turn to the streets, just do whatever they want.
I hope people are listening to what you guys are saying, because this last question I'm gonna ask you guys before we go into asking the other guys on the panel, I wanna ask y'all this question, all right? If you could talk to any city leaders, nonprofits, or anybody like that, anybody who's in power that can make these changes, what would you say to them right now if you could look in that camera and tell them exactly what it is that you need from them to do to create a safe environment for you? What would that be?
Like stop gang violence, like get a good education, don't try to fit in with other people just because you think it's cool, and don't get peer pressured into anything because that's not cool.
What would you, if you could look in that camera right now and tell the people in power, the city leaders, people that can really make changes right now, if you can look in that camera and tell them exactly what they need to be doing, because a lot of times we as adults, we're not listening to you. We're not listening, we're not following up, we're not doing any of those things. So at this point in time, you can tell them exactly what it is you need to be successful.
I feel like y'all should take the time to, listen to the people that actually, well, should I say our generation that actually has been in these situations and that doesn't want to go down that same route. Like, it's time to step in, see if you can help in any way, because if we just continue on just sitting back and just letting this happen, we're gonna be losing more people in the most craziest ways.
In my opinion, you should just watch these kids outside of school. Just watch them outside of school, like from walking home, what they do at home, just things like that. So much affects them that it changes them mentally and physically. And at school, people don't even pay attention. They go to school with a smile on their face, seeing their friends. What happens if they don't see their friends? What do they do outside of school? They're just with their parents, all depressed all the time, thinking about killing themselves, thinking about hurting themselves, and they don't tell nobody. Next thing we know, they're gone, and we could have prevented that.
You touched on a lot of different things in that last piece, man, about young men hurting themselves, young people. Let me say this because it goes for both male and female. Have you guys experienced anyone hurting themselves at school or anything like that?
I have experience in the school, but I have a friend that has done it before.
Really?
That did do it. He,
How old was he? You don't mind?
18.
18 years old?
He got, he was drinking, and I guess how his family was treating him, or just things, because you know, when people drink or whatever, they actually let certain people, like, feelings get to them, and they start thinking real deep. And at that time, he was just thinking about things he went through. And then the next day, I got a call saying he killed himself.
Wow. 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 Does anybody else on the panel have any more questions for these young men? And I want to open it up to the audience as well. Does anybody have any questions or any comments or anything that they would like to say? You can come on up here and you can look right in that camera and here's the mic. Introduce yourself.
I'm Derek Rivers. I'm from St. Louis, North South. But I was going to answer your question, like how people been peer pressured and stuff trying to fit in. Some people not peer pressured, like some people lose dead people and they trying to retaliate and they not acting. And people be in the crossfire, so it be like that. So what y'all three got to do, it's like, it's hard because I know where y'all come from. I took myself away from that. And it's hard because I lost my brother to people who just left him from dead. And I got that mindset. I had that mindset, retaliation, but it ain't worth it. It ain't. You just got to hold it in and keep it to yourself. But you still got to look over your shoulder because every day it's a different person that's grimy and hungry, want to take what you want, take what you earn, you know? So it's a must for us to protect ourselves. I just stay blessed every day and protect my family. And, you know, it ain't nothing we can do. It's people that lost people that's blood shared and they keep going back and forth. It ain't about fitting in. Some people do fit in, and that's their fault. People, it go in one ear, it go out the other ear to them, you know? They just trying to see what these rappers and all these people doing, and they want to be them rappers and that and that. This ain't that. They got to be themselves, and they don't want to be themselves. They want to be the next person. So, at the end of the day, just be yourself.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot to take in. That is a lot to take in. I'm getting a little echo in background. So guys, panel, Keithan, can you got anything to say about what was just said, man?
Testing, testing. It's a lot. So first of all, I want to commend you brothers for just opening up and speaking up. And to the young man here, I want to just commend you as well. We'll be praying for you. Thank you. So I think what we heard is a microcosm of what's going on in our community with kids in general. I was dropping my son off at school last week. I live in the city. So I'm driving down Grand, and the school bus gets off, and this kid has maybe like 2 blocks of a street before he goes to school. As soon as he gets off that bus, he hops down on the bench, opens up his school book, and starts sprinkling and rolling up before school. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, and this is the middle school that he's going to. So possibly 7th or 8th grade. So these kids are going through a whole lot that we are underestimating inside. And so it's really important that we listen to them like my man said, because they're going through a whole lot. And that's why it's important for us, when we're in the program, to listen to the kids, because everyone is going through something individually. And I learn something every time that I have the program. We had an excellent program with Community Give Back last week, and the kids got on some very, very deep subjects. And when I dropped them off, I drove home just thinking and reflecting on my own life and situation, what I can do better and how I can better serve them in the future. So it's really important, like the young man said, like a child shall lead them. So listen, and then we'll figure out how to proceed from there.
I was asked to be the voice of the church, if you will. So from a church's standpoint, I believe that in many ways churches have failed these past couple of decades. These past couple of decades, I think churches have failed insofar that we have focused more on religion than the relationship. A lot of people have left church. If I was to ask some of these young men how many people have actually grown up in church, or if the Bible tells us to train up a child in the way that they should go. But my question over the last 20 years is who's training the trainers? So who's talking to our young men? Where are the fathers? Where are the mothers? Where are the grandparents? Where are the aunts and uncles? What happened to the village concept? Who's raising our kids? And a lot of times we have parents now who want to be friends with their kids instead of being parents. They have enough friends, they need parents. And the church has kind of lost its legitimacy in our communities, so the people no longer look to the church for guidance, they look to the church more so for entertainment. And that's a problem with me and dealing with churches and trying to change the paradigm. How do we get back into the families where the church is important in the family structure and upbringing?
Couple things. I'm gonna swing back over here to what Pimp Juice said. He said that the response was to, or should be to, hold it in and keep it to yourself, right? It's the exact opposite, right? It's important that you seek support, not necessarily that needs to be therapy, because everybody doesn't need therapy, but everybody needs relationships, right? So that's where it's important, because if you don't, emotion is energy. So everything that you're talking about is emotion, and emotion is energy. And if it transfers, it doesn't just disappear, it goes someplace else. So if you don't deal with it how it presents, then it's gonna show up someplace else. It's gonna show up in other relationships, it'll show up in sleep patterns, it'll show up in your health, it'll show up in other places, because it's energy. We exist in the state of electricity, right? So I just want you to be encouraged that everything that you said was 100% right, but one of the barriers, especially for men and boys in and from black and brown spaces, is, and it's not that we don't have the willingness to seek help. Sometimes help is not as present or accessible in the places that it probably should be, or in terms of access to resources. So that's where I'm gonna encourage you, man, if you have it's seek support. Again, there's stigma still attached to therapy and so on, so I don't really give a shit about that right now. I care about getting help or support, or finding a place where you can ask some questions when questions need to be asked. Does that make sense what I'm saying? All right. I'm going to follow up also on what Brother Pastor said, that historically, that one of the challenges is historically from our, the beginning of our existence in this country, the church and the school were the cornerstones to any kind of community that we've ever existed in. But it just so happens today, or over time, the two places that have been the safest have become the most violent, or the least safe. And so what we have to figure out now is where in the community, if it's not church, if it's not school, where are the places that we can go, that kids can go as family or community, or families can go to reestablish what community is going. We might not be able to have community what it looked like in 1964, but in 2024, we can recreate what it looks like by taking control of what we can take control of, and having the right people in the right places with the right resources, doing the right things for the right reason, to recreate what it needs to look like now. Because like we said, we can't raise these guys the way we were raised. I'm 48, and we can't, what they need is different, and we can't meet their needs with our ideology. So we do have to listen, and that requires having them at the table as investors in the process, and not just us making decisions and expecting them to conform.
For me, listening to these young men up here and listening to the young man that spoke out here, I work with these kids every day in our EMP program, and most of them are 16, 17, so I hear a lot of stories, a lot of what I call horror stories from them, that they talk about what they went through in life. Some of them want to commit suicide, and some of them can't sleep at night because they thinking about certain things that their parents doing or a dad ain't in the life. So I hear these stories every day. So my thing is, for me, I didn't have this when I was younger. When I was going through that stage and I was one of these kids, I didn't have the support. I didn't have anybody to turn to. I didn't have anybody to say, hey, man, what am I doing wrong? I just did. It's what I saw. It's what I learned. So the streets, what they taught me, I mimicked, and I did. Went out, did some very crazy things, you know what I'm saying? But if I would have had the structure that's in place that this program is, if I'd have had that to lean on, if I had that to say, you know what, I got a crutch to lean on, then I probably would have been turned out a whole lot different from what I turned out. But even going to the penitentiary, when I got out the penitentiary, I went right back to the same blocks where I came from. So when I got back to the same blocks where I came from, guess what was waiting on me? The same things that I used to do. So now I'm right back in the game again, doing what I got to do, hustle, whatever it is pertaining to. On top of that, I got shot after that. I took a bullet right here 4 inches from my heart. If I'd have moved a little bit to the left, I probably wouldn't be sitting before you today. I got the stitches and staples all the way up my stomach, the old school surgery that they used to have. Now it's newer because they got the lasers and stuff. But at the same time, I had to get a bullet out my hip, and this bullet that still lies behind my ribs right now as I speak to you before you today. But it wasn't the end of me because God had a plan. He had a plan for me. It wasn't the end of my life, it was the beginning of my life, because even when I touched base on that, I went back to the hood, did the same thing again, now I'm back in jail again, so it was a vicious cycle for me. What had to break the cycle for me, God had to sit me down in that cell and say, you know what, there's two ways it's gonna go. Either you're gonna travel through the cemetery or you're gonna live for another day. What you gonna do? So I had to make a choice at that point. I said I wanted to turn it around, so I turned it around. And I stand before you today as I started off in the church as a deacon, worked my way up to a minister, and I was told at 17 by my own people told me, you ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna amount to nothing, you ain't gonna ever be shit, excuse my French. You'll never have a wife, you'll never have kids, but I stand before you today. I stand before you today with all of that, because God saw different. So what, young man in the back, what I'll say to you is, whatever we're called to do, we called to do it. You got a ministry in you, period. Bottom line, through your experiences, if you stand on that and you believe in yourself, guess what? You got a whole ministry to give somebody else. You hear me? We have to stop sitting on our hands, man. When you said, man, I don't know what way to go with this, we sitting on our hands. And if we sitting on our hands are not in a position to be in front of us to give or receive. We got to put our hands where our hands need to be. So continue to be encouraged. You hear me? What happened to you is what happened to you, and it's in the past, which is why your rearview mirror is this small and your windshield is this big. It ain't about what you looking back at, because that's what already God done brought you through. He done already carried you through all of that. You done survived that. You still alive. You wake up, you got breath in your body today. Guess what? You got a whole new mission. Stay on mission, young man. You hear me? Stay focused. I am where I am today because God said so. And I believe that. I'm a firm believer of that, because I could have been anywhere else, 6 feet deep in the casket. I seen friends die. I seen all of that. But I thank God today for where I am today, and that I can give back to young men like these sitting on this panel. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Amen. Amen. Hey, I ain't follow that. Why you do that to me, bro? I can't follow that. Sheesh. So, but this is why this is so dope, man. And Annie Malone is definitely engaging in that village piece, right? Through that EMP program and through everything that they're doing. They have the church section in the May Day parade this year. So, like, this is just so important and just so needed. So I'm going to circle back with the older people. We're going to run it back from Rev this way. And just tell me, how do you all define community, and what significance does it hold in your life?
I think of community as family. When I think about community, I think it starts at home. How we clean up our own houses, period. Community starts at home before you ever leave the house. And I was taught by my grandmother a long time ago. My grandmother would always say, what are you going to do better today than you did on yesterday? That was the challenge. At 6 years old, it was right over my head. Granny, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm finna go play G.I. Joe right now. I'm good. But it registers in my head more than ever today that it started with that grandmother that cared, that mama that cared. That's where the community was, in the house at first. But then we were to take that community in the house and take it outside the house. So that's where community was for me. And you said define, what was the second question?
Define what role it plays in your life.
The role that it plays in my life is giving back, man. It's like I said earlier, not sitting on what we know and the wisdom that we have, but giving back. Sometimes you got to realize to step aside. It's not about you. It's not about you. And a lot of people figure sometimes that it is just about them. No, it's not about you. Somebody was praying for you when you was out there doing what you wanted to do. My grandmother was praying for me when I was out here in the streets and never knew it until she told me one day. She said, baby, I prayed for you. And so now I wear a shirt today. I got a hoodie today that says, I prayed for this. Because everything that I prayed for became transparent and became real and relevant in my life. So what it means to me, and it's just a staple of family. It starts with family. It starts forever. Before you ever walk out that door in a day, you got to challenge yourself, period. When you challenge yourself, you got to take that same joy in your heart, and you got to go outside the door and spread that joy. Just like cancer can spread, that joy can spread too, so you can spread that joy. And that's what it is to me. Oh, yeah, White Castle has been a big part in that. We have a young man right now that is 18 years old that White Castle has took under their wing. He works for White Castle full time. They've been a big community piece for us that we can lean on. They come in and they teach. They came in and spoke to all the young men there, gave them some insight on the workforce and what it is to be in the workforce. And they were just great. They're hands-on. We can call them at any time we need them, and they've been very supportive in that nature.
Community. Just simply for me, community is a collection of resources and relationships that meet needs. It could be family relationships, it could be, non-family, fictive kinship, it could be any number of different forms of relationship, but it's a collection of relationships and resources that meet needs. What that means to me, and that, again, that includes whatever businesses in that community, schools, churches, et cetera, the people that make up that community. What it means to me, man, it's crazy. I've been a part of it, but one of the things that I experienced that's been the most impacting is to see the systemic destruction of it. Like I said, I'm from the West Side, man, and we grew up, and I remember back in the day, like, block parties, being, the hood, running around to the horseshoe if you could survive that or whatever have you. But, what I'm trying to tell you, Bear Brothers Park, all that other different shit that we had, on the block over there. But to watch that, I'm a product of the DSEG program in terms of school. I went to Parkway. And again, as I stated even in the last session, and I'm going to continue to say, I watched my neighborhood go from a thriving people, hardworking people, blue collar people who worked, we were outside we were outside, just outside. Goddamn it, if we weren't inside playing Nintendo, we was out in the grass playing and whatever have you, and we could be safe or whatever have you. And that changed quickly to us being zoned for different school districts and going in opposite directions. Instead of walking down the street to go to school together, we all catching buses on different corners. And that was a big part of the systematic destruction of those neighborhoods, many of which don't exist in the same form as they did. So, but we can get back to that. We can recreate that with the right people doing the right things with the right resources at the right time. We can definitely recreate that for whatever that has to be today. Relationships succeed or fail based on needs being met. So we have to understand what needs exist today. We can't solve today's problem with yesterday's ideology. So that's where conversations like this are important, so that we can be clear about everybody being on it. We in the Black community is, we might not all be on the same page, but we got to at least try to be in the same book. So that we can make conversations like this move forward.
Testing. Communities can be many different areas. You have the church community, you have family as community, you have the military community. You got community is who you identify with. Now, the scripture says, "Who is my neighbor?" Is he my neighbor because he's next to me? Is he my neighbor because he's on the other side? Is it my neighbor because we live in the same neighborhood? Is it my neighbor because, all skin folk ain't kinfolk? So who is my neighbor? Who is my community? You choose your community. And the problem is it's hard to choose when you don't have, again, when you haven't been trained on who you are supposed to trust. What's supposed to be the safe space? Safe spaces used to be, I could go to school, and if I had a problem, I could tell my teacher, I could tell my counselor. If I had a problem, I would go to the church and I would tell the elders, I would tell the deacons, I would tell the pastors. These are the people now who are molesting our kids, unfortunately, so we don't know who to trust. So our kids are turning to each other, and that's the blind leading the blind. Once again, we have a problem in our community because we've lost the foundation. The foundation of the family structure has been broken, and it has been intentionally broken, and it has been infiltrated by the system and the government that the church was supposed to be the ones to care for the orphans and the widows and those who were despondent, and we have given that power away, and we have allowed systems and welfare to come in and do what the church was required to do, which made it now, when we're talking about who do we trust, it used to be in God we trust. And now, in the democracy, we're trusting. In Trump, supposedly, they have those sayings, in Trump we trust. We're being taken over by people who will give us a pair of shoes to buy our votes. We're not supposed to have, it goes so far, but we've lost the foundation. And I think the foundation is the home. But the home, we don't know what it means to be men. We don't know what it means to be women. The children don't know what their responsibilities are. A man has been told in order to be a man, you got to have so many women or not your woman. And then if a woman do the same thing, then she a hoe, but he a man. But we got preachers pimping the pews. It's too many issues, and it didn't just start today, and I don't really see it changing overnight because it didn't happen overnight.
I appreciate that. So when I think about community, when I spell it out, I spell it community with a capital UNITY at the end, because I think we're all one. So I grew up in East St. Louis, but I live in St. Louis now. And I've done so much work in St. Louis just giving back that people actually think I'm from St. Louis, And so that's kind of a little bit about me and how I feel about my community. We're all one. I think we have a problem in our community with collaboration at times. I think some of us have to be the main person, but with me, I'm about collaboration and working with all types of organizations. I have ties with a lot of people in here. The young men at the end, Hazelwood East, I've done food giveaways at their school. I've done mentorship workshops, interviewing, mock interviews. I know the principal, Dr. Granger. I've done work with Keisha before this program, with Annie Malone. I've done work with the Corey Johnson Foundation. So it's really about collaboration within our community. And like my man said, giving the right people at the right time with the right resources. So just learning what we do and how we can move forward as a community, and to keep programs like this going on, and also to support leaders like Keisha with Annie Malone and people that are out there outside on the front lines every day. Because we're here today, but after today, we're still outside. So make sure that you support when you see people doing things. It is not always about money. Sometimes it's about just kind of showing up and supporting and sharing through social media as well.
Thank you. All right. I said that I was gonna sit in the back and chill, but I'm sorry I can't, Corey. This is my dish. So I thank you for defining community in your eyes, but I want to make sure that we focus back on these young men that are sitting here, because I really, really want to hear your perspective. I got a question for you. Tell me, it's easy to go to the other side and be lit and do what you don't supposed to be doing? What keeps you from going to the other side and running the streets and doing and defying your parents, or just don't want to just be an adversarial? You know, what keeps you on this side of it?
I mean, to be honest, I think it's just like, sometimes I think about what my father would like think or tell me, or my mother would think if I did do something like that. Yeah, and I don't want to disappoint them. Then I just don't want to let them down because they think I have a good future, and if I just threw all of it away, they'll be disappointed in me.
Powerful.
Usually I stay, my bad. I stay away from it usually because, like I said, I seen the people or the outcomes of what people turn into, and I know my future is kind of bright for myself. I know exactly what I want to do when I graduate, things of that nature, because I came too close to come to the biggest thing in my life as a graduating to just fall short and doing something stupid that could throw my life away. So I want to make my mom proud, my dad proud. It's just because I know he's looking down on me, and I'm supposed to be exactly like him and following his footsteps. So I just basically mainly want to make myself proud about how I want to treat everything, but I usually just keep my head up no matter what goes on and continue just moving on with my life.
Okay, my reasoning isn't as positive. Well, it's positive, but it's not just like how it came from. Is there? My family, we had a little bit of a situation with my family where I got kicked out. So I've been staying with them, you know, enjoying my life. But I thought I could just give up, you know, just start doing that stuff, just do whatever I want, because who's gonna care? But then a thought occurred to me. Retaliation. I thought of my way to get better. Let me explain my way of getting better. Okay, my way of getting better. I'm gonna be better than all of them. I'm gonna go to school, keep my job, do what I gotta do, pass it on my classes. I'm gonna show I'm better than them by being the best at what I can do.
Yes. So you felt like you had something to prove, and I'm so glad that you didn't go to the extreme of retaliation. And as we go back down this way, I have another question for you guys. Well, not a question, but a statement. Like, if there's a lot of people on social media right now tuning into this, and there's kids and people are going to share this, and it's going to stay up there on our pages and on social media, on YouTube and all that. But it's some kid out there that's your age or a young man or something like that. If you could just say, each one of you guys, say something, anything to them, because they may be on the fence, or they may be in a situation where they thought they was about their life, but really they not. And they just trying to fit in. If you could give them some piece of advice or say something to them to reach another student, and it don't have to be a cookie cutter answer. Like, if you talking to your homeboy and he about to go the other way when he needs to come this way with you, give him some advice. And I would also like to hear from you too, young man, if you could do the same thing.
I mean, me personally, I would say, like, I would say, like, I don't really have the words, to be honest. I would just say, don't, like, do, like, wrong stuff just because you feel like you can't do it. And when you feel like you hit your limit, you have to at least try to keep going past that limit every time and keep trying, and don't give up because something's too hard or you think it's holding you back, because that's just your mind, the back of your mind telling you that you can't do it, but you actually know that you can do it.
I would say for the people that's watching their kids our age, just don't give up. Don't let anybody dictate to who you are or who you want to be. Just if you see yourself doing whatever it is that's keeping you safe, make sure you follow that dream. Don't let nothing bring you down. Just keep your head up and stay focused and pray every day.
What I say to them is that we're in the benefit as it is. You can't. I understand your emotions, how you feel. The world treating you badly, you should treat it bad. You treat it worse. Me, I think point that rage towards something better. Like, my parents talk to me all the time, make fun of me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to school and do what I gotta do. Yeah, I'm like, you got all F's, now you got all A's. You doing better now. You doing good for yourself. People can hold you down with no one can really hold you down for real. Life's a mind game. I'm not too young to understand that fully, but life's mostly a mind game. You can't just give up so soon. There's so much to live for too.
I just want to say to the people that's watching, just continue to be humble and make sure you got your head on right. Don't get tricked off the streets. It's easy to get tricked off the streets, hang around the wrong crowds, thinking it's fun and cute. And stuff can happen in the snap of a finger. And you just be in the middle of the, bloodbath out of nowhere. You just think you out here partying. And party's gonna come later. You just gotta be successful at the beginning of your young age, bro. I'm trying to tell you, while you're young, bro, you can achieve so much stuff, and then the parties can come later. But try not to fit in. It's hard because you're seeing this stuff on TV. You want to be that person, but just be yourself, bro. I'm telling you, it's gonna come out at the end of the day. Please, stay blessed, bro.
Yep. Thank you. And we have a couple questions from the Facebook Live. We have a question from Miss Antoinette. She wanted to ask, they want to ask the younger generation, how can you help lead your peers in today's culture?
Wait, can you redo it again?
Sure, I can you want to repeat it?
Yeah. Yes,
Yep. Miss Antoinette wants to know, how can you help lead your peers in today's culture?
How could I answer that? It's like, see, with the generation that we have now, it's like we can do so much for that person to teach them to go down this road, but usually they choose, like, initially that's their choice and we don't want them to go down that route. But I come from where my father used to teach me, like, you have to be responsible of your actions. So whatever choice you choose, good or bad, is going to be a consequence from it. So if we sit there and do something bad and expect all good to happen, then you must be tripping. But we can only do so much, especially as teenagers or whatever, even adults, y'all can do only so much to help us. But usually, sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we think we know everything. And that's what's hurting these kids out here now, thinking they can do whatever they want. And you got people that sit here and throw their whole life away. Now they're outside homeless because they didn't make the right choice in life. And it's just to the point where it's all about, life is all about choices, but is you gonna pick the right one?
I feel like the best you can do for the younger generation is just set the example. All you can do right now is just, right now everyone's at the floor. Right now, show them the roof, the ceiling of what they can be, the best they could achieve. Go to school wear a nice fit, tell them you got a job. Tell them, hey, you can reach this level too. You can be just as good as me, maybe even better. Just apply yourself. Try. Don't just give up because you're like, man, he's so good. I can never be like him. No one's unreachable. Nothing's impossible, I should be saying, in all honesty. You can do anything you want if you set your mind to it. It's a mind game.
Thank you. And I want to pass the same question to our gentleman at the table. What can you do to help lead the culture that we have now with the youth? Like, what can you do personally? I know the last one we did, I challenged people to pick a student up or someone and take them to the barbershop with you. But what can you do? It's in your everyday life. What difference? What can you do different?
Yeah, so I said earlier that I'm about community. You know, to me, it's about God, family, community. And my community, to me, is an extended family for me. And so on an everyday basis, I'm doing like the small things outside of quote-unquote programs. For example, this past weekend, I had about 7 kids at my house, fed them, took them to like the Flying Spider. So it's little things like that to help occupy their time and to help them build a community amongst each other versus being out in the street, you know. It seems small, but it's better than them being out in the streets, you know. So it's about recognizing who is in your community, who's without people that are guiding them. You know, pick them up, take them to the barbershop, take them to Billiken games. Just small things on an everyday basis is really important to really make a change and impact in your own personal space and community.
The young man on the end, he said that the way that he decided to do him being better was a source of retaliation, and that was he was going to succeed, and his success was his get back. And I believe that's, you know, to kind of wrap it up, the best thing that I can do is be a success story. The Bible says it this way: let your light so shine so that men and women could see your good work and glorify God. All of us were individually wonderfully created. If I can teach them to love theyself, because many of them are trying to be somebody else because they don't value themselves. They're trying to be a basketball player or a football player or a rapper or whatever. They want to wear somebody else's clothes. I heard a man say that slavery was all about getting some man's name off of our back. But as soon as we got out of slavery, the first thing we did was got a little bit of money so that we could put somebody else's name on our back. Well, why can't I be content with who I am and love myself, and I don't have to have a name brand because my name carries me. The name of Christ carries me. God has made me who I am. But if I could be a success, if I could, this young man is wearing clothes that says entrepreneur. God says, I want you to be the head and not the tail. If I could get my own job. In the military, I was a pilot. I flew planes. I was an air traffic controller. But when I came out, I could not find a job anywhere. I couldn't get an interview. I took pages of interviews to try to go somewhere and couldn't get a phone call. I ended up starting a janitorial company. But God allowed me to take a broom and a mop to make $300 an hour, where I thought that it was going to come from somebody else, but I learned to value myself regardless of what my job was. My job didn't dictate who I was. God dictated who I was. God made me the success that I am today. So if we can show success that our kids can emulate, and then we can point them to God or to Christ for a better life, to love them, to love themselves, to be the best that they can be, not to be the best that somebody else can be. Whenever they try to be someone else, what you are telling God is that who you made me wasn't good enough. So I appreciate being who I am and asking our kids to love who they are, regardless to what anybody else say they ought to be.
All right, thank you for that. But well, don't pass the mic yet. Before you do that, I got something for you. Now, y'all know I'm Miss Keisha all day, but I listen to my music too. So I think it was MJG and 8 Ball that said, if the message reach us, then we all fill up the bleachers. Told me, you talk about us going back to the church, and yes, I am in church, Light of Jericho Missionary Baptist Church. But for the young people, a lot of them are not. And you keep saying about the church, how do you make sure the message reach them to where they fill up the bleachers? Because that's one thing you said before is we went to church a lot of times for tradition and not because of relationships. So how do you bridge that gap to allow them back into the church or bring them back to the church? Because like you say, the family, the mother, the father, some of that's broken too, but are we going to bring everybody back, and how do we do that?
I don't know how we bring our children back if we can't bring the parents back. we have to reach the parents, because the parents, unfortunately, when I was growing up, we didn't have an option to go to church. You went because mama said you was going to go, or you found another place to live. But we allow our kids to decide whether or not they're going to go to church, but we don't give them the option of whether or not they're going to go to school. So as a parent, do we mandate God? And I understand that we cannot raise them necessarily how we were raised, but then at the same time, if it was good enough for us, why isn't it good enough for our kids? I understand that they live in a different generation, but the principle remains the same. The parents ought to have some sort of relationship, but I think it's the church or the pastors, the leadership, to go back into these homes and apologize to these families for leading them the wrong way, for making it more about prosperity than their personal souls, and establishing relationships with them. And then if we get the parents and we can teach and train the parents, and we can be what that parent needs, if we can help them in their housing, if we can help them in their jobs, if we can be for the parents what the government is to them, then we will have the opportunity to be able to lead and guide them in the way that they ought to go.
Hello. Wait, what am I answering? Wait, give me together. What can I do? That was the question. So I told Brother Pastor I got a cussing ministry. I'm just about that grimy shit, man. Like, you know, for me, for my taste in terms of what I do, you know, it is my ministry for men and boys, because we have a generation of men that have been invalidated by so much of, you know, so much of what is projected, so much of what is advertised, so much of what is communicated. We have a generation of men that have been invalidated, and that's just why I prefer the grimy shit. Like, it's important that every brother understands that it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you stand. OG said, you know, I didn't go to school, I don't give a fuck about none of that. His portion counts. Yeah. And we got every brother, doesn't matter, dog. I got X number of degrees, you got zero, doesn't matter, because there's something that's on the inside of you that's important. If we want to go back to the scripture, I know the text from the beginning to the end, and we talk about the parts of the body and how it all fits together. And because my portion might be a femur bone, his might be a metatarsal, it doesn't matter, because those parts work together in order for the leg to move. So we gotta empower brothers. It doesn't matter if you're a postal carrier, if you work at I don't give a fuck what you do. There's something that's important about your portion so that we can get it all combined. And that's one of the things that's, you know, a struggle here is like we got some of the, and I watch, man, I'm observant. And y'all know, I just say shit, right? Some of the most powerful people, men in the city of St. Louis, have not been on the same stage together. Refuse to be on the same stage together. And that's a fucking problem. I have a problem with that. But that's a whole nother talk show. I'm not going to take up the time to talk about that. But if we're going to talk about community, then we have to be able to bridge those gaps in the issue. And it's always success. And I'm mentoring, I'm teaching, I'm coaching, I'm working with football teams, basketball teams, whatever have you. We talk about success, right? We got to shift from the desire to be successful to the desire to be significant. And if you shift that to significance, then success will follow you. It'll chase you down.
For me, waking up every day, I think about that. We're not guaranteed to wake up. And I had to go back and reinvent myself, because I was one who didn't talk to people, or if I walked by somebody, I wasn't a speaker. I wasn't going to speak to you unless you spoke to me. And sometimes even if you spoke to me, I might not say nothing to you. That's just how I felt. So now I look at it totally different, because if I get the opportunity for a new day and I can get up out the bed and my feet hit the floor and I got breath in my body and I got food in my refrigerator and I go out to the car and put the key in the ignition and the car start and I got a job to go to, those small things that seem like just ordinary things are some of the biggest things that you can hold on to in life. So if I figure I can do that, then when I walk in the room, I say, you know what? I got to walk in the room better. I got to come in the room like I own the room that I'm not qualified to be in. People will say, oh, you ain't qualified to go in that room. You don't have the qualifications to fit in this piece. But if I walk in there like I own it, I don't give a damn what nobody say. I'm going to walk in that room like I own it. I'm going to take control of that room, and guess what? I'm going to come out that room victorious. So any room that you can walk in life, any place that people tell you ain't supposed to be, or they tell you ain't amount, or you don't have the education to be this or be that, I know of many qualified people that have walked indoors and got a simple yes, and they wasn't even qualified to have the job over the person that had all the qualifications. God do that. When I got introduced to Christ in my life, period, it changed my whole concept and my whole perspective of life. I used to be the one where I complained about my yard all the time. I'm talking about the grass is green on the other side concept, okay? We all think that grass is green on the other side, so I'm like, man, I got to get to that yard over there because that yard looks so nice. The grass is all shaped up. The bushes are all trimmed. Everything looking good. I mean, it's edged. Ain't no weeds, none of that. But I look back at my yard, the yard that I came from, the bed that I laid in, and the weeds were thick, and the bushes were all out of shape, and spots in the grass, and everything just looking bad. So yeah, I want to jump ship. I'm going over the gate. I'm gonna live this life like this man living. No. God said no. Turn around, look at your yard. Grab that hoe over there, start working in your yard. Grab that lawnmower, cut your grass. Plant you some new grass seed in your yard, because your yard can look just like it did when you're looking over the fence. It can look just like that yard over there if you put the work in. So we have to learn to get back in the community and say for ourselves, man, look, I got to be the best version of me, not just for me, but for somebody who's looking at me, somebody who's watching me. These young men, they watch people. They're sponges. They soaking it all in. So I got to be the type of leader that's not standing behind the podium and looking down at the people and teaching and preaching to them. And I ain't talking about church, Pastor. I'm just talking about in general how we feel. I'm that type of leader. No, I got to be the one that get down off the podium and get behind the people where they never see me, and be the dirtiest one when I'm getting them in line. That's what kind of leader I got to be going forward. That's what we need to teach our community, to hold on to one another, to link with one another. We ain't got to be mad at each other. I knew two brothers one time, one on this street and one on this street. They ain't talked to each other in years because they had a fight over a lawnmower. They went 15 years and their kids knew each other and grew up around each other. They kept their kids from each other. For what? Why do we have to be those type of people? For what? When all we got to simply say, man, look, I apologize. Sometimes we got to be the bigger person in those situations. We got to say, man, I apologize. I own that. But our kids should be growing up together. We should be sharing some of the same values in life together. I should be sharing some of your wisdom, and you should be sharing some of mine. And we ain't here to help one another, then what the hell we here for? Huh? How can we walk by somebody and God telling you in your heart, say something to that young man, but then you don't say it, and guess what that young man do? His mindset already set. He goes into the building that you left out of and he blow it up. But if you had just spoke to him like God asked you to say hello, or man, have a nice day, or man, it's going to be a great day, or you're going to be victorious in this day, you could say something simple as hi. And it could have changed his whole mind concept to turn around and say, you know what I was finna do, man, no, it ain't worth it. You break the code because the enemy is real out here in these streets. The enemy is real, and he out here to seek, devour, and kill, and destroy whoever he run into. So it's on us that we have to own up to be the leaders that we got to be. All these men up here, all these young boys up here, man, I praise y'all for what y'all do. I ain't hating on nobody. If you can show me a way, man, I'm coming there to learn. I'm coming to sit before you so you can teach me the way and show me the way. Like I said, and I'm going to tell y'all a little secret, I do got my high set. So I did go back and get the high set. So I did finish school, but I finished it a different way. But it just goes to show you, though, you never give up on the fact that I'm not here just for myself, but I'm here to help other people around me. So when you got that opportunity to touch a young man or speak to a young man, I never miss those opportunities. If I see a young man on the bus stop, guess what? We rap. If it's about sports or whatever, wherever I got to meet you to get to you, I'm going to get to you, and then I'm going to give you whatever God put in my heart. So that's what being this leader and being a better leader and showing people leadership is for me.
All right. Amen. Give him a round of applause. The whole panel. Amen. cannot give a preacher the mic last. We will never go home. No, I'm just playing. Ever. Like, no, but thank you all, man. Thank everybody that's on this panel. Real quick, can you do me a favor before I wrap it up with the EMP program? Just one word. One word. One word. No, one word of encouragement for our youth and for the youth that are watching and for the people to take back. Just one encouraging word. Say that again. Why should they take advantage of the EMP program? In one word. Can they do it in one word? I'm gonna start. My word is rap, and I would say that to the youth, all the youth that I talk to, rap, R-A-P. Everybody like to rap, right? All these young people like to rap. My rap is a little different. It's responsibility, accountability, and productivity. Responsibility, accountability, and productivity. You do those three things, I believe you will be successful in life, and I'll digress to you.
So I think the program is really important is because it provides the immediate needs of some of what the kids are striving for. So really it's all about food, clothing, and shelter. I was listening to this comedian last week, and he went through this whole spiel about how he became a drug dealer and he was hustling all just to get a pair of Jordans and a fresh sweatsuit. So sometimes when these kids are growing up, it's Ali, yes, sir. It's the simple things that matter. So it's about just looking good for your friends, and it's about just having those things that you need in order to study and build relationships and things like that. So the EMP program provides all of that, from utility assistance, food, clothing, transportation to get to the mentoring program. So definitely give them a call, sign up. And I won't waste any more of your time, but thank you guys for being here.
Thank you. A lot of words, but go ahead.
There are so many programs that are out here. The EMP program, if you have access to the program, many of us have access to things that we don't take advantage of. And we either think that we can't, or it's out of our reach, or there's no funds left, or we make excuses of why we don't take advantage of things that's right in front of us. So I would say, reach out. They said, if you know anybody between 16 and 21, how many of us know somebody 16 to 21 that has problems, but we are afraid to reach out to them? We are afraid to call them and ask them. So if I could give one word, I would say love. And we were almost taught as men that love is something that we don't express. But love is everything that makes the world go round. God is love. Everything that we do, I do for my family because I love them. I do for these young men, even though I don't know them. What I do because I love the next generation. We need to teach them that as a man, it's okay to love. There's nothing wrong with it. When I talk, let me say this. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, died from COVID a few years ago. The last time I spoke to him was the only time that I told him that I loved him. And there was no homo in that. And I'm not talking against no communities. I'm not talking against LGBTQ plus all of that other stuff. I'm saying that as a man, I can still love another man without it being on some bad stuff. So we need to understand that we can love each other and do right by each other. And because I do love you, it will make me want to do right by you. So let us learn what it means to be a man. And we can love and do that.
Amen. Love. One word. All right. Love. All right. One word. That's all right.
So, hey, listen, man. I'm gonna just keep it all the way 100, man. Listen, concerning the EMP, it solves a problem. That's the issue right there. Is it solves a problem because kids, there's a large percentage of kids that are not successful in school because basic needs are not being met. The program meets those basic needs, and it meets them in a way that creates some continuity, right? It's regular and it's consistent. It's not just popcorn shit. It's regular and consistent. So my one word is to stop making excuses and start making adjustments.
Boom. All right. All right, Rev. All right,
I'm gonna
Rev.
try to keep this one word.
Okay, Rev.
But EMP, like I said, I'm there every day. And I've seen these boys come in from day one to now. And every boy in that house right now, we got a full house right now. We got eight rooms, all 8 rooms are full. And if I had them boys right here in front of y'all, and y'all could ask them, do y'all really want to be here? They're going to tell you yes. They don't want to go home. When it come Friday time for them to go home, they like, all right, I'm going to go home, but I'll be back on Sunday. And Sunday, sure enough, at 7 o'clock, they show up every Sunday. And sometimes even through the week, they may have a bad day. And they'll be like, oh, well, I don't even know if I should really be here or not. But the men in that household that bring forth DT, I'm going to shout out DT, he ain't here tonight, Boys to Mentor, I'm going to shout him out. But he's one of the ones, me, there's other mentorees there, our whole team, we really focus on the need for these young men. And when we love on them, man, let me tell you something. When you can love on a person and you giving them that unconditional love, I ain't talking about that conditional love, that's of the devil, where you loving them for something that they got or something that they do. No, unconditional love, you loving them throughout. Whatever they've been through and they experience that, they ain't going nowhere. They sit right there. So I love it. I'm sorry, my one word would
Praise
be
the Lord.
Enough.
Praise him.
My one word is enough. And my word enough is that these young men and every young man that's out there listening and watching this, know within yourself that you are enough.
All right. You want to give just one encouraging word, not like them, just one.
Maybe like limitations and like believing in yourself. Because some people do have limits, but most of them have to be broken to achieve your goal. And if you believe in yourself enough, you can basically do anything.
All right. Thanks. Talk it.
One word I'll say is probably, I got multiple I can say, but one word I would say is change. Like, you have to give yourself a chance to understand like other people's situation or what they got going on, and you can't always stay the same. Like, even if it's a good way or a bad thing, it's always gonna come across a time in life where you gotta change, no matter what situation is, good or bad.
All right, the word I would use is retaliate. You get knocked on your feet. What you gonna do? Grab a bottle and wash away your problems? No, do something better than that. Go to school, get a job. Show them that you're better than what everyone says you are. Words don't affect you, actions do.
All right. Thank you all again. Please contact Annie Malone if you want to be a part of the EMP program, or if you have young men that you want to be a part of this program. Thank you to our amazing panelists today and the young folks. Shout out to my man Yoshi, who couldn't be here tonight. Also DT, who's on the sick and shut-in list. I told him that he old, and old people, they don't recover as fast. So if you don't live, you was a good dude, and we love you. But we are looking for us next month. We are going to be talking about we're going to come back next month, and it'll be a whole new topic. But again, thank you all. Thank you all for coming, and please spread peace and love, man. God bless you all. Thank you. Now let's get out of here before they turn sexy red on. Get out of here, Rev. Hurry up.
Here in St. Louis, our teens are dying rapidly and families are hurting. Annie Malone's economic mobility program is offering an innovative solution to help stop our young men from being on a RIP t-shirt. This program is for young men ages 16 to 21 and takes place at our North City campus. With us, they will have assistance accomplishing their high school diploma, get help with legal cases, and most importantly, be empowered by men that have been where they are. Don't wait until the next shooting. Act now.
I'm going down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Come on. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shit, go up. Listen to it clap. Light it up and take a puff. That's the team. I'm going down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shit, go up. Listen just to navigate it. Wood decorated on chrome and it's candy painted. Fans fainted while I'm entertaining. Wild ain't it? How me and money hand with Hannibal Lecter. So feel me when I bring it, singing loud. I'm from the loot and I'm proud. Run a mile for the cause. I'm righteous above the law. Play my styles raw. I'm going to Mac like Ty Shaw. Forget the fame and the glamour. Give me these with a rubber hammer. My grandma bees, ebonics, gin, tonic, and chronic. Scratch my yonic, it's ironic. Slamming haters like Onyx. Lunatics to the day I died. I run more game than the Bulls and Sonics. Going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Come on. Ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. Going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. You say pretty boys ain't be wild. Loud biggest, okay, corralled in us, fouled in us, running the club and busting the crowd in. How then? Ask me again, and it's going down in. Now then, come to the circus and watch me clowning, pounding. What you be giving when I'm around and frowning, talking that shit when I leave the town in. Say now, can you hoes come out to play now? Hey, I'm ready to cut you up any day now. Play by my rules, boo, and you gon' stay high. May I answer your third question like AI? Say hi to my niggas left in the slammer, from St. Louis to Memphis, from Texas back up to Indiana, Chi-Town, KC, Motown to Alabama, LA, New York Yankees, sluggers, Hotland, Louisiana, getting paid off this country grammar, smoking in Savannah, blow 30 mil like I'm Hammer, going down, down, baby. Woo. Street in the rain, come on. Ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. Going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain, ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. Let me show these cats how to make these millions. So you quit acting silly, monkey. It quicker than Billy, mom. Talking really not needed, mom. Flows I get come freely, mom. Especially I read me, mom. Keys to my beamer, mom. Holler at Beanie, mom. See me, mom. Chief and rolling deeper than any, mom. Through Jenny's mind. Through you city, back up the King's line with nice players, shy slayers who snatch your life and they tripe when they produce and sell the same be twice, but they ice, baby, all over close to never sober, from broke to having brokers. My price range is lower, now I'm knocking like Jehovah. Let me in now. Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. Spin now. I got money to lend my friends, now we in now. Candy beans, Kenwood and tears, now I win now. Woo! And lesbian twins, now sin now. Through the pen, I make my ends now. Down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain, come on. Ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now. Going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain, ready to let it go. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. Pass it to me now.